Get a lot of views though.
Hello, and we are live. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. I don't care what it gets. I'm having a conversation. I enjoy doing this. There's nothing wrong. Unfortunately, today's gonna have to be a quick conversation. We've got brother Hassan here. Hopefully, brother JM will also join us. That would be great. That would be amazing. Because let's be honest, JM brought this up. So hopefully my bro Jam will join us. But yeah, apparently, did you hear that racial slur? Did you hear that?
No.
Um, Kool-Aid assassins.
Is that what he said? Okay.
Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid assassins in the back. That's what he said. And what else did he say? He said something about watermelon, and I mean, does it even surprise you that he's being racist?
This is the thing. I don't think he's being racist.
You don't think he's being racist?
Yeah.
No. Do you think he's using racial slurs?
Yes.
Okay, so we agree that he's using racial slurs. Do you
Yeah.
think? I'm gonna play the video. I'm gonna play the video. I'm not. The thing is, he's known for doing this, though, isn't
Say
he?
that again.
He's known for doing this, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's known for purposefully using racial slurs in order to, is it to antagonize, piss off black people? What is it?
Yeah, that's it. I think he likes being the bad guy. I've noticed this with Andrew Tate as well. I was watching a video today where he is obsessed with attention. He's obsessed with people villainizing him as long as, because being a villain is a really easy way to get attention. And I think that's the same case here.
Uh, Unfortunately, James is not going to be able to join us today, guys. So he's seeking. So he wants attention. So he uses racial slurs in order to gain attention. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have this feeling that deep down he doesn't like black people, or he doesn't, or he has some, or he doesn't like the. I don't know. He doesn't like the black race deep down. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's from because if it's from North Sudan or whatever. But I have that feeling. I get that feeling from him. I mean, it could be anything, right? It could be anything. It doesn't just have to be one thing only. You know, it could be a mixture of things. Um, is he racist? Is he not? You know, I would have loved to have JM in here so he can break this down a little bit further. But anyways, hold on a second. Let's go through. Let's go to the timestamp because I do think there's racism there, bro. He was talking about 9/11.
Uh-huh.
That JFK.
Why would someone ask about 9/11 on given when he's given dating advice or dating talks?
When he was assassinated, Israeli intelligence was involved. We're finding out with RFK the same thing. And they've held these documents for 60, 80 years. I wonder why. So with 9/11, and I can quickly go through it if you guys want me to, but there was you guys want me to? All right. Let's go through it. Oh, I can already see some. Okay. Shaniqua in the back is mad. Don't worry. We'll get to you next. We'll talk about, watermelon and fried chicken here in a second. So the Kool-Aid assassins in the back. So let me kind of go through it, right? Because I see what you're.
Did you get it? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Yeah. What did he say about watermelon? What did he say about watermelon?
He said we'll get to watermelon and chicken in a second.
We'll get to watermelon and chicken. Okay. Why? There's some women, just look at the context, right?
Yeah.
There's some black girls in the back who don't like his views on intersexual dynamics between men and women. So they making fun of them, and I don't notice this type of behavior when he's talking to white women, because we saw him talking to a whole bunch of feminists, and they were just as obnoxious, just as rude, just as all of that. But he never links it to race. But when it comes to the first thing he did with these black girls is link it to race by saying that, watermelon and all of that nonsense. Why take it there? Why? That's what I don't get.
Because he gets a reaction immediately. They even waited for him at the end of the event to speak to him and just jeer him and stuff. But
because he gets a reaction.
Yeah.
Just for reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets a reaction giving his views about intersexual dynamics.
Yeah.
He gets a reaction, by him giving his views on intersexual dynamics. He gets a reaction, between men and women, what women should do, what men should do, gender roles. So he gets a reaction off of that alone.
Yeah.
Why the race? Why mention race? Why these racial slurs? Why?
Because it gets a reaction. Literally that simple. He'll say it adds to the, gives them more content, because the women stayed at the end of the event to insult him and to really express how unhappy they are with him. But the idea that he's anti-black or he's a racist more than anybody else, no, I don't think so. I don't buy it.
You don't buy what? Say that again.
That he's doing it specifically out of hatred for black people. Because he says he'll be as aggressive and disrespectful to black women as what's the guy called Tony Sotomayor or whatever his name is, one of another red pillar black guy. He'll be anti-black as a lot of black content creators as well. But they don't get the same reaction. So they don't get the same assumption that he's a racist or whatever, he's anti-black because he's from a particular part of Africa and such. So it's not as the argument that he's a racist more than anything else. It's just weak. I don't buy it. It's a real goal.
See, with me, I don't buy the whole. He's just trying to get a reaction. First he has to be consistent, and I don't see him doing it with white women. I just don't. I don't see him. But even if he did, first of all, I'm not saying that he should go around using racial slurs towards other races. I don't think that's right either. He shouldn't be doing that. No one should be doing it. There's no reason for you to do that. But isn't the racist also trying to get a reaction?
Not necessarily, no. No, most racist speakers they don't speak in that way. They don't make these slight comments. They're usually a lot more. Some of the most racist people aren't like this. They're quite reasonable, polite. In fact, they don't make this. You'll never hear somebody like Ben Shapiro or Matt Walsh or.
Are you calling them racist?
It wouldn't surprise me if Ben's racist.
Okay.
Matt Walsh, he's most likely racist. Charlie Kirk, most likely racist. Probably more racist than Myron. All of them probably more racist than Myron. So yeah, and they never use this type of language.
So you're saying the ones who don't use racial slurs are racist, and the ones who do use racial slurs are not racist?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all.
I'm scratching my head here. Am I missing something?
Yeah. It's the nuance you're missing. You're missing the objective of being an attention seeker and saying something that makes you a villain. And I really like your thumbnail, by the way. You made him look like French Montana or something in your thumbnail.
Yeah.
You get a better thumbnail. It's really good, actually. I don't know what you're doing, He got some training from someone,
I've
but
just improved, bro. I've improved, bro. I'm just, I don't know where it came from. It just happened overnight. I just woke up and I was like, I'm a master of thumbnails.
you really are. Well, now you are, anyway. It's looking good. Respect for that.
Well, you're
It's looking
welcome.
good.
You've dissed me for long enough.
Yeah. You've been bad long enough. Now you're getting good. Yeah, I think it's fair.
So you don't.
But,
So you think people who use racial slurs are not racist, and the ones who don't use are racist?
oh
Or
no, I'm not going around saying the guy who's shouting N-word and I go, oh, you see, he's using the N-word. He's not a racist. No, of course not. The point I'm making is he's the idea that he's saying it out of a hatred for black people. It's no. That's probably 10 or maybe 15% of that because he works with black people. He has black. Isn't Fresh black?
are you saying that? I
Fresh
think
says some horrible things.
you already know the question I'm going to ask you. But are you saying that racist people don't work with black people?
Oh, is that your question? No, no. No, of course. Well, if they have the choice, they usually
wouldn't.
won't. But he has a lot more choice than most.
Do you think there's any? Do you think there's like percentage wise?
Mm-hmm.
How much would you say that's true racism, or do you
Okay.
think it's just not racist at all?
Oh, him.
Yeah.
We're like 45%.
So you'd say it's 45% racist.
Yeah. Like if 100% is like Third Reich, KKK type, I would say he's 45, maybe 30, somewhere between 45 and 35.
Still well on its way.
Yeah, it's still quite high. Yeah.
45% is quite high.
Yeah.
5% is quite high. That's what I was thinking. But the thing is, I've also noticed that using these racial slurs has kind of become normalized within American culture nowadays. I've also noticed that. Do you think this is where it's all coming from? Do you think if we were a little bit more race sensitive, or racially sensitive, then we wouldn't be using these birds? Or do you think are we moving forward? Are we transitioning to a phase where these racial slurs no longer have the the impact that they used to have? Because he gets a line of black boys basically coming on and praising him, and this is after he uses these racial slurs. So after he uses these racial slurs, he gets a whole like line of black boys coming in, and I'm just wondering, do these black boys always also think like you do, that he's not really being racist?
Oh, no, I think for them there's a certain level of lack of self-respect to a certain degree, because what he's doing is still not worthy of respect. I did say 45%, 35% or so. He is doing something that is, huh?
You said 45%.
Yeah, and then I said 35 to 45. But he's still not a person who's praiseworthy for his actions. He's still not a person who should be respected for what he's doing. Those, as you said, black boys, they should really think twice about being so comfortable praising a person like this. And I think it's this level of self-hatred to a certain degree. That's why a lot of this slides.
Self-hatred.
Yeah, of course. For him to say that, and then for people to work with him, compliment him.
Remember what I asked earlier?
Yeah.
Like these racial slurs are becoming quite normal. People of not necessarily from a black background to use them, and I'm wondering if in America, because they're no longer racially sensitive, are they transitioning to a point to are these racial slurs have the American culture transitioned to a state where these racial slurs no longer have the impact that they once had? or black people no longer find it as insultive. They're no longer affected by it. It's no longer an issue. They don't see it as, like, for example, you've heard of the, your white friend using the N word, right? Um,
My
uh,
white friend.
no, don't personalize it.
Oh.
So you've heard about that, right? There's a white guy in a group full of black guys, and he can use the N word. You've heard about that, right?
Mhm.
You've heard about that. Now, as we become more, how do I say this, mixed, culturally mixed, you're gonna have black guys hanging around with white friends using the same type of, like, language and so on and so forth. So is it become more acceptable to use these words towards black people because black people no longer feel offended by them? They don't have the sting that they once had before.
It's a good question.
It's an amazing question.
I don't really see. I see what you're saying in terms of, because I have seen some white rappers use it, and I remember thinking, and the explanation was, "This is the culture I grew up in. This is what I'm around." You often see people. I think even you see a variety of people using that word, and then there's even the distinction. Well, is it with a hard ER or is it with an A? Like that makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly. I always find that stupid. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You shouldn't say it. ER or A.
It's still the same word. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just an accent, slight different accent, but it's the same word. I've seen that compromise. Is there a shift to? Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that might be true, that there is a slight shift towards, well, it's just a word, it's just acceptable. This person means it that way, or this is part of the culture, yada yada yada. You can say it, and even if you don't say it, the idea of making racial jokes like consistently and openly, or you're with somebody that you don't know, that's become more common. You see it in comedy shows all the time, where the word isn't said, but it's just the description is so precise that you will come to the conclusion yourself that this is what the person means. It's very common, and yes, that shift that you're talking about is prevalent, and I've seen it. In entertainment, really, not in my personal life, but definitely in entertainment. There's no, even to the point where, do you remember Jennifer Lopez?
Mm-hmm.
She said it, and then people were like, "Well, how can she say it? She's this, that, or Latino's black, blah blah, yada yada." But then somebody like, I think other Latino rappers who use it, I can't think of any, but they're not even questioning for a minute. Because I remember thinking at the time there are other Latino rappers or musicians that use it, and nobody says anything to them.
Yeah, but
So
Latinos are not white.
they're not white. Yes, but can they use it?
Yeah, because
They're classified as Caucasian.
The Latino race comes from Tainos, Spanish, and blacks. It's a mixture of three.
But just looking at them, you can generally see one is more prevalent than the other in most cases, right?
Well, if you're gonna judge it by looks, by appearance, then yeah. But nevertheless, historically, this is how this race came about. It came about for a mixture of three races: Taínos, Spanish, and blacks. So that's the reason why they can say
yeah, but then you have people that there's white passing, where you can pass for white, and then that gave certain groups of people, certain racial groups, a certain level of how can I say, privileges that they've lived off in the US. And
I don't think using the N-word is a privilege,
No, they didn't use. No, I'm not saying using the N-word is a privilege. I'm saying there are Latinos who could pass for white, therefore they had the privileges of being in a white society and didn't face the oppression, so they wouldn't identify as black, historically speaking.
Yeah, but how many black people of a darker skin tone today really has has faced the oppression of that word. I mean,
Mhm.
aside, I would say, yeah, 1980s, 1990s, yes, but 2000 onwards. I mean, I don't think many black people can honestly turn around and say, yes, this word has been used to oppress me and blah blah blah. I don't think so.
But the point I'm making is the idea that Latinos can use it because they're not white doesn't stand true, because they've passed for white for quite a while in the US.
So basically, what you're saying is they avoided the oppression of the word. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they're just, you can say whatever you can describe them in any way, but you can't describe them as black collectively, even with the genetic background as a description.
You can't describe them as black collectively.
Yeah. The Latino identity isn't a black one, even though it has a.
Then an
It's more
African person is not a black person either.
a what?
A black African person
Yeah.
is not an African person. Okay,
Yeah.
is not a black person either. If we're gonna, because then we have to really focus on who really suffered under that word, and it would be the black American slaves, and then it would be the black people that were fighting for civil rights. I mean, those are the people that we can really say were affected by that word in any oppressive manner.
That's not what I was trying to say. I was trying to say that Latinos
Hmm.
aren't black because they can pass for white.
Okay, that, yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about their appearance. I'm talking about how they came about, what their race is made up of, whether they can pass for white or not. That's neither here nor there. The fact is, they do come from black people, black slaves. They come from black slaves, a mixture of black slaves, Spanish, and Tainos. Whether you think they can pass for thinking, it's neither here nor there. It's a fact that they come from where they come from. That's what their race is made up of. Now, because they are extremely light and they can pass for white, yes, you can turn around and make the argument, but because they can pass for white, so they can't. So you would say Latino shouldn't be using the word, basically.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all.
Mm.
I'm saying there is a stigma associated with a Latino person using the N word because historically speaking, and even till this day, they can pass for white.
So who can you?
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. That's fine. But who? So who would you say can use the N word then?
I don't give out the N word pass. I don't give authority. I don't stamp it. I don't go, you can use it, you can't use it. You have to write, you don't have to write. It's not my thing. The point I'm making is.
Well, you can't because you're not black anyway. But yeah,
Well,
but you.
even that, Myron got the same situation. This is it's slightly off topic, and I think the whole who's black, who's not black is I think it's a side topic, and I don't think this applies here. But even Myron had the same thing. He goes, literally, they stood on stage and they said, "There's a lady." I saw a clip of it. The lady goes, "Oh, how can you be calling people this when you're a black man yourself?" And he goes, "Well, apparently sometimes an Arab, sometimes I'm a black person. You guys can't even mark your mind. You can't make your mind up."
Yeah.
And he's talking to them and how they label him.
Yeah, but remember, he's not saying who he is. He's not
saying
saying he identifies as. He's saying what other people call him.
Yes.
And shout out to everyone. We've got 8 of you guys watching. We appreciate you. Welcome to the Solution Podcast. Guys, I've got the link there. If you have any opinions in regards to this situation, feel free to join us. The link is in there. But yeah, go on, bro.
Yeah, so the point I'm making is when it comes to who's black, who's not black, who can say it, who cannot say it, it really just depends on who's doing the classification, who's doing it. Because some would say Latinos are black, some Latinos would say they're not black, some people of West African descent would not say that they're black, would not refer to themselves as an N-word, and they might even use the N-word in a derogatory way. Some people who are Middle Eastern might be considered black or something. It's just all these weird classifications and cultural context and things like this. The point I'm making is, in back to your question, is he doing it because he's a racist and who's no? It's not possible. It's because he comes under. I'm sure he would have faced racial prejudice himself being in the US. So the idea that he perceives himself as not a person who's an ethnic minority or a person of color, whatever these terms are, that's why therefore he's using it, is a real stretch. It's a real stretch. It's more likely, but he's doing it just to piss people off.
So
And
what
he,
on what basis do you say you think is 45% racist?
yeah. But then there's a lot. You'll find the same thing in West Africans as well, who, when I say racist, I mean in the sense that they look down on African Americans and they would use the N word in a derogatory way. They might come out of that classification in my mind. They might come out of the 45%. Latinos as well, maybe in that 45%. So the idea of you are from this racial background, therefore you, when you use these terms, therefore you must be this, that, and the third. No, it's not that straightforward.
What about
With him,
what about his affiliation with the far right? He loves going into those far right spaces on X. He loves talking to them, knowing that when they do use the N word, when they do use those racial slurs, they use it in a derogatory way. They use it in a racist, very racist way. I personally think there is no other way of using this word. There is no special way of using the N word, or all the racial slurs that he mentioned, right? I don't personally think there is a special way of using it or a non-racist way of using it. If you're using it, you're using it because you're just being racist. You're being racist. That's how I personally think. I don't, and but what about when he's on his X spaces? And guys, I'm not. Let me tell you something. There's there's racism in every race. I'm not here. To me, racism is just a symptom of a sinful nature. That's it. There's loads. People commit all types of sins, and racism is just one. It's just that people these days care more about racism than they care about abortion, for example. Okay, so people are a bunch of hypocrites. Okay, they will go with one. They'll prioritize one sin over the other. All right. As a Christian, I believe it's so sinful, it's so wrong. And shout out to the 16 people watching. But what I'm asking really is, what about when he goes to these X spaces and he is talking to these guys, and these guys are using the N word, even towards him? They even calling him that, all of those things, and telling them, once we get our country back, are you going to go back to wherever it is that you.
Can we find that? Can we find that and play it? I'll find it. Can I find it?
Hold on a second. We go Vigtal20. He says, yeah, you can find it if you want. He says, you people are full of shit. The most racist people on the planet are blacks. Hold on. Let me extend some grace here. Look, listen.
When you extend it, I'll take it back.
Vital, let me tell you something. Yes. Okay. Are there black racist people? Yes, there are. I'm sure there's loads. But you cannot say the most racist people on the planet are blacks. Who is he referring to? Is he referring to like Black Americans only? Is that what he's talking about?
That's a good question. I think it might be black, but
I think he might. Listen, racism. There are racist people in every race. I don't know where he's getting this from, but there's racist people in every race. Vital20. And no, I do not believe that the most racist people are black. That's a lie. Black people have suffered racism in the hands of white people. They've suffered racism in the hands of Arabic people. Black people have suffered racism in the hands of many different groups of people. So for you to turn around and say that, that's absolutely wrong. And the link is there if you want to join us and talk to us. Yes, stop saying the N word. The word is, and it refers to a type of a black person.
What? Vital20.
Shouts to Aaron McKay.
What an ignorant muppet. That's perfect.
What an ignorant muppet. Well, the N word, it was a word invented to dehumanize black people during slavery. That's where the N word came from. And unfortunately, black people took that word and continued to use it. Not every single black person, of course, but I don't agree with that either. But yeah, that's what it was invented for. So I don't know what he's talking about.
He says, stop using the N word. The word is NI, whatever, whatever. You laugh, but the truth hurts. Blacks are the most racist. I've lived among many races, and blacks are the worst. Okay, can you go into more detail of where you lived? Because your personal circumstances can't necessarily be true for the collective. The idea of my lived experience defines what the truth is. It's just too subjective. And the idea of people using the N word instead of the full word. Well, it's wise to speak with decorum and decency, and not necessarily go down a dark path in terms of using language that can be derogatory and dehumanizing. There's no need for that. Maybe you want to take this conversation, in my opinion, to the gutter, but it's not what we're here for, I don't think.
No, look, and just to let him know, I'm not even doubting your experience. You probably were in a black community who everyone was very racist to you. I'm starting to think that he's probably talking about America. He's probably been in certain black communities where they don't mind, they don't mind using white racial slurs and so on and so forth. Are you even white? Anyways, and I'm not even doubting that. To me, that's neither here nor there. Human beings are capable of doing all types of evil stuff. But for you to say that black people are the most racist, probably haven't been in America. You probably haven't been in Africa. You probably haven't been in a lot of places where there are far more black people than in America. And I'm sure not even in America you'll find that all black people are like that. But if you go outside of America, if you go to other parts of the world, you'll find that that is not the case at all. That's been my experience, and take it from someone that has come from Africa and now in Europe. So then he says, yes, there are racist people in every race, but blacks are by far the worst. He just doesn't know when to stop. Oh, good. Aaron McKay says, Octavia, I think you are overestimating his intelligence. I'm starting to think so. So white trash is an okay term then. No, it's not. That's a racist term, and I don't agree with that either. I don't think we should be calling white people white trash. But who invented white trash? Was it white people?
That's a great point. It's probably more white people that invented that term. But yes, it is. You're right, Vital. It is an offensive term, and it's not okay. And I agree with Octavia. Just because one racist term is acceptable doesn't mean the other one is, or So it's not. So I agree with Octavia.
Yeah. Yeah. Name safe black neighborhoods in any country. Oh my! I haven't been to every single country where black people are. But if you're talking about, sorry,
Helsingborg.
Where? Say that again. I didn't hear that.
Helsingborg. That's a city in Switzerland, in Sweden. I used to go there on my holidays. Large black population, and it was completely safe.
Okay, but when it says in any countries, like is it in any African country, for example?
Oh, well, yeah. Then that one would be obvious. There's a lot of black countries with very safe, like Zimbabwe, Tanzania.
It's like you need to formulate your questions a little bit better. You need to be a bit more specific with your questions. Hassan, so I think Vital, shouts to 22 of you guys watching. Welcome to Solution Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Only if you like the content. So white trash is okay to use, or redneck or hillbilly?
No.
We just literally said no, that's not okay to use either.
I think it's from the US.
I think it's from the US.
In Europe. I live in Europe. No, I live in Europe, and black people are turning Europe into a cesspool. That is not to say that blacks are not to say all blacks are bad. I lived all over the world. Oh, okay, so he's got a slightly better opinion. You know, all of them are bad.
I don't know if I believe him. I don't know if I believe him that he's from Europe. I really don't know, because he mentioned things like redneck, white trash, hillbilly, and we don't really use these terms here in Europe. So I'm not sure if he's being honest about it. He says that's not to say all, but hold on. He says no. I live in Europe, and black people are turning Europe into a cesspool. No, they're not. It's white people that have turned Europe into a cesspool with liberalism. Liberalism basically says you can go out there and have sex with whoever you want. It's liberalism that's sexualizing young children. It's liberalism that has created this culture, this sexualized culture, this degenerate moral culture, immoral culture that we currently have in the West. It's white people that created all of this nonsense. What are you talking about? Feminism. Was it black people that started feminism? What are you talking about? Feminism is what legalized abortions, and so on and so forth. You remember the sexual revolution? This is all white people that create all of this type of stuff. So I don't know what you're talking about. This degenerate culture that we currently have in the West. It was created by white people. So if you see black people participating, which they are a minority of, that doesn't mean it's black people's fault why it is the way it is. And that's not all black people participate in this black degenerate culture that they created under the liberalism.
You sure you don't live in China, Vital? No, I'm not asking for the sake of asking. I've just gone on your channel. It seems like you got some Chinese. Like, is it Korean? You're from?
No, but I think he's been misinformed. But he can always join if he thinks.
Part of me thinks he's lying.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying silly things like what did he say? Turning Europe into black people are turning Europe into a cesspool, as if black people are the ones who legalized contraception, abortion, the sexual revolution, started giving houses to moms who have who have sex outside of marriage and then create broken homes. Why black people didn't do that? The Great Society did that with Lyndon B. Johnson. He says, "Keep laughing, you have no argument." I think I've just given my argument. So why are we allowed to say the term white trash? He's still saying the same thing. He's just derailing us from the conversation that we're having at this point, bro.
Yeah.
Donald Robson, as the only black guy, one Kiev, I don't know, he says, am I revered and respected even in Russia? But the moment I turn on my YT or IG, racism, the West is trash. I don't know what he's trying to say.
As the only black guy in Kiev, so he's in Korea.
Okay.
I am revered. So glad. Yeah, I am glad, but and respected in Russia. But the moment I turn on, so he's saying this whole hatred of black people is just on social media, and in real life, I get revered or respected. Yeah.
Okay, that's his personal experience. We're gonna call that the truth. Vital 20. Hold on a second. So glad no blacks here in Ukraine. All women are mine. Who is this guy?
No competition, I guess. Yeah. Best way to win, I guess.
So glad no black. I heard Ukraine was quite racist. I'll be honest with you. That's what I heard. So I thought, but he's saying he's having a great time out there.
How can he have a great time in Ukraine? Isn't there a war?
Isn't there a war going on in Ukraine? Like, it should be the worst time right now. Donald Robinson, what's going on? The N-word term is American too. Well, yeah, I mean, they're the ones who invented it. Not a European term. Yeah, so you don't really think Thing is racist? What's his name? Myron here?
I said 45%.
Rashid goes, look, shout out to my brother Rashid. Oh, shut the F up, Vitalto. You're clearly trolling and trying to stir. Let him troll. Maya vibes. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Who's that aimed at? I think is that aimed at Vital 20 or us? Because we know what we're talking about. Yeah, I'm sorry. Look,
We
listen,
don't
Ken.
offer arguments in the comment section, to be honest with you.
Exactly. That's what the show's gonna turn into. But yeah, bro, I think he is, bro. I think he is. I don't see him. You know, we're gonna need consistency here. I think. Do you know Vital 20 reminds me of a white person that wants to say the N word. I know those far rights. Know those people that want to say the N word. They want to be racist. They dying to be racist. And he doesn't like it when when black people are talking about racism, because he wants to be able to use to be racist. He wants to be able to be racist. You shouldn't be racist with Tal 20. Yeah, bro. I think Myron is racist, bro. I really think he's racist.
I've got a video clip. If you want to.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me stop sharing that first.
Wake up, nigga.
These guys specifically are talking about Myron Gaines.
The ones that kind of brought it up, HT himself was like, I ain't bothering no more.
No point.
I'm not wasting my time. And as soon as it comes in our space, we're just going to gas the cunt. Shit like that.
Well,
and he even asked us. He even asked us. He's like, if I kind of break the rules, just hit me up about it, guys. And I agree with him. Like, we gain nothing. Like, one of these comes in, they talk nice. They're like, oh, look, white people deserve their space, and can't we just be friends and blah blah blah. But then later that night, they're just behaviour. I think it was you, Comfy, that was speaking about that guy where he's like against the and all that shit, and then a half an hour later he's posting shit like, as many as you can, and just full nigger behaviour.
Myron Gaines. Yeah. Myron Gaines.
The worst thing he said was, don't marry a girl until you're 35. What a retarded thing to say.
What a fucking idiot. Stupidest thing ever, mate.
This is why we're talking. This is what we were saying yesterday. Like, at the end of the day, they're low IQ, they're low impulse control. Even if they say a few things that are based or whatever by our standards, don't fall for it. Don't think that they're on our side. Oh, based. It just doesn't happen. It's just, you know what I mean, though. This is what people think. No, it's what
but Myron Gaines,
like
Myron Gaines,
look at this. No,
Myron Gaines has how many followers that Myron Gaines has, just for fun?
Like 100,000 or so.
Base nigga.
But that's the point. I think it's the only reason why some people
notice with black.
Yeah.
Were you going to play something that Myron said?
Okay, yeah. So I'm trying to find it.
By our standards, What, the same standards that's led you to not even procreate enough of yourselves to replace yourselves, you idiot.
And this.
He's been working hard. There's been a lot. Oh my fuck!
What's up, motherfuckers?
Just be tired.
Welcome to the show.
And this.
I'm a member of the clan. I got a white hood. Yo, do these they're talking to? I am the captain now, motherfucker. I am. Like a running stream. Well, we were.
So here's the interesting thing.
Yeah, he's racist, bro.
if you look here,
he's racist, bro.
See what he's wearing? You see what he's wearing? That white.
Yeah.
I've got the same one at home. Not the hat.
Well, you've got the same one, yeah?
The exact same one. I wear it.
Why? Why did you have that?
What? Because it's an Islamic clothing.
Why?
It's a thobe.
All right, go on.
So the point I'm making is, he doesn't actually have a clan outfit. He just probably bought that on Amazon, the hoodie, the one for the head. He's not like, it's not like a scene from Django Unchained where he's ripping bed sheets out of whatever and just and what have you. It's attention. He wore this exact same garment minus the hood, the one over the cowl over the face, to Dubai with sneaker when they were in Dubai, walk around in Dubai. He just put a hood on top of it, right? And so what he's doing, this is ultimate trolling. This is all this is. This ultimate trolling. This is it's an effort to gain attention and be popular online, because you get the liberal market, focused on hating you and calling you a racist. You get black women online going out their way to call you and shouting and screaming and calling you racist and things like this. Not many black men, strangely enough, they don't really call him out, as you said. They actually work with him and they like him. And he mainly focuses on loquacious and things like this. He doesn't talk about crime statistics and black men are dangerous or whatever. He usually rails on black women than anything else. So it's just a case. It might be a case of his not being cancelled and still being quite popular and getting a lot of black men calling into the show and being subscribers and followers of his, because he voices their frustration with black women, maybe, and whatever issues that they may have with the black community, maybe to a certain degree. I don't know, because with the single parent household rates being so high, maybe there is no vested interest in protecting the image of the black community amongst black men. Maybe that's the issue. But the idea that he is a full-on racist, no, this garment is a perfect example of how it's not out of hatred of black people. It's a desire for attention and just to be. He's ruined his career over this. He abandoned his immigration career, or whatever it was doing.
I'm willing to agree with you on the fact that is there an intention to does he want? Is he trying to gain attention from this? Is he going to get attention by wearing the clan outfit? Yes, he's going to get attention by wearing the clan outfit. Is he going to get attention by using the racial slurs yes, he's going to get attention by using those racial slurs, because society is quite sensitive to these things. Well, not anymore, because things are kind of changing. But is it going to get attention from this? Is there an element of attention seeking in this? Yes, but there's no way I can look at that and not say that's not racism. That is racism.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you there.
There is no need to take it there. There is no need. There is no need. Look, even if I also criticize the black community, okay, which I do, I don't think there is any leadership in the black community. I think the black community has been completely destroyed thanks to Lyndon B. Johnson, and also partly because of the black community themselves. Were there forces involved in the destruction of the black community? Yes, the Great Society, basically giving promiscuous women housing was wrong. That led to the destruction of the black community. The pill, the abortion laws, all of those things led to the destruction of the black community. Took the father out of the house and so on. There is no leadership in the black community, but also black people are also to blame in that. It's not just the outside forces that are to blame. But at the end of the day, look, this is what's happening to the black community. Black communities they're a minority, but what's happening to the black community? Well, eventually, it's happening to everyone else. But I can criticize that. I can make that criticism. I can say, oh, there's a lack of fathers. No wonder why these little kids are involved in gang violence. No wonder why these little girls are sexualizing themselves. Blah blah blah. I can do that without having to put a clan outfit on. I can do that without having to. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Like, I don't have to do all of that. Kool-Aid assassins. Like that's one of the things that you say, Kool-Aid assassins and so on. Like, come on, I can do all of that without doing that. Black people are ruining Europe. You can't handle the facts. That's not a fact. That's a lie.
Says the unmarried bachelor.
Exactly. You're not even procreating, bro. It's living a promiscuous lifestyle that feminism has promoted, that has led to the destruction of the West. It's called liberal ideologies. Go and study it. It's because of these liberal ideologies that the Europe is literally self-destructing, and you want to go and blame a race. We're a bunch of idiots. Do you think black people were like this 60, 70 years ago? No, they were completely different. So things had to change in society. Liberal ideologies is what caused those changes. When you go and study what these liberal ideologies taught and what they allowed and what they legalized, then you would understand what's going on. So Myron is right, Myron is wrong. That's why do they always rely on insults? That's a red herring. Why do they always have to rely on swear word? It's like they can't speak without using swear words. It's like it's the only way they communicate. It's like laughing at this dude crying that blacks have low IQ.
This dude is great. What is this talking about? This is why Okabe, this is why you don't use like historical context and humanizing the black community, because the way Myron does it, where he puts on the black the clan outfit and things like this, it gets a lot of young men who are Red Pill or Andrew Wilson fans or whatever it is, and Myron fans, really it allows them to vent out their frustration and their anger. The idea that people who are a low IQ are somehow have Europe in a chokehold. This is cognitive dissonance. How can it be? Are they retarded and they have Europe under control and they're ruining? It doesn't make sense. How can it be both? How can it be both? Could it be that there is a frustration that a lot of young men in Europe and in North America and certain other parts of the Western world, as it were, feel inadequate and how come, in a sense, left behind by society, and they're venting their frustrations through being angry with women and ethnic minorities, and want to, how can I say, live out their fantasies online, and having somebody like Myron who blames black people and Jews and everybody else for their entitlements not being fulfilled. Yeah. Not even inadequacy, just being normal. Because you go online, there's this consistent feed of, remember the Roman Empire, remember Napoleon. We used to be kings type mentality amongst certain ethnic groups within Europe and North America that have this perception that even goes into somebody like the Patriot Front, which I would love to play, which is really interesting. This idea of going back to a time where the white man was the ruler of the world, sort of thing, and obviously that fell apart because we're all human beings, right? We're not inherently superior to anybody else. Nobody is.
But look at this. But look at this. But this is a low IQ observation. We are reacting to a video, and he goes on to say, "Lover, this dude's crying that blacks have low IQ." No, he played a video. We are paying attention to the video, and since we are inherently reacting to what's going on, that's something that I would have picked up on. So that's actually a very low IQ observation. But it's actually they use these they swear a lot and use these low IQ. I don't even know what. I don't know what's wrong with them. Like, honestly, white Europeans are sick of having to take in the continent of Africa and then listen to you complaining. all you have is the victim inside. What victim? You have the victim
here.
Hold on. It's the white governments that are allowing foreigners in, and you're blaming black people. The logic is so stupid, it's so silly. Shout out to my brother Rashid Rich. Vital said you sound as dumb as Myron. Yeah, he does actually, really does. If a white man moved to Nigeria, then you'd understand the meaning of racism. He'd be robbed blind or found dead in no time. I don't know how.
There's a lot of white people in Europe and in Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Ghana, I
don't know how true that. I don't know how true that is, so I can't even comment on that. That's just silly to me. Black Americans use the term cracker all the time. You shouldn't be using the term cracker either. It's racist. It's
Or the C word. By the way.
yeah, it's like I don't know, like these things matter to these people. Like they don't even want to understand the root of the problem. This is what's crazy to me. And this is why part of me thinks it is racism, because if you understood the source of the problem, the reason why we even have these issues in the first place, you would be like, race would be the last thing you'd be thinking about. But unfortunately, this is what I'm saying about these people. To me, this is just another way of avoiding accountability. You know, because liberalism create all these liberal ideologies, what caused all these problems that we have today. But you guys are more worried about race.
Yeah, it's a case.
Crazy, bro.
So Ryan, he said,
no, he said. Oh, I was gonna go into the next one. You said Myron is a racist. How is he a racist? He's using racial slurs. He's using racial slurs when he doesn't have to. You can address, you can insult someone if that's what you want to do. You shouldn't do it, but you can insult someone without using racial slurs. You don't have to use racial slurs. It is stupid. It is nonsensical. Okay, you sound like someone who just wants an excuse to be racist. That's what you sound like. Fancy Dog Coco says telling the truth isn't racism. I think it is these days, you know. Yeah, bro, go ahead.
If you just go back to the black lady.
Myron is black to me. Myron black.
Telling the truth isn't racism. Okay, so what is the truth? That's the subjective part. Presenting statistics and let me give you an example, right? Before this, you have somebody like Charlie Kirk saying that DEI is racist and it makes people think the worst of black people. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to assume that he got the job because he's DEI, and meaning he's inadequate for the position, but because of his race, he was put in that position. Skip to today, and turns out DEI facilitates and assists more people who are not black, whether it be veterans, whether it be white people or white men or white women and such. So the idea that it is the truth that black people have their jobs because of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, and that they're generally inadequate. The truth wasn't being presented there, but racism was. When the person, when you use the word truth, there's a lot of nuance to that. There's a lot being left out. And when somebody goes directly to you are inferior or you are immoral or you are incapable because of your race, it's never the truth. So as soon as you hear racial epithets coming from someone like Myron or whoever, know that it's not based in truth. Race realism and critical race thinking, or the idea that a person is inferior because of their race, has been tried throughout for centuries. It's just a way to dehumanize a person to justify your oppression of them. And once that's removed, it becomes far more of an equal playing field. Turns out we're all just human beings, and there is a lot more in nature than there is in nurture. So there's a lot more in nurture than there is in nature. So when you say telling the truth isn't racist, it depends what you define as truth, and most racists don't speak the truth.
That's a good point. Yeah. It depends on how you define the truth. Yeah, absolutely right. 100% hit the nail on the head there, bro.
And this goes back to what I said. This is why a lot of people can somehow get away with the N-word, and like Myron, because there's a lot of self-hatred within the black community to the point where somebody can say these type of things and they don't get checked that much, and they can go on to succeed and still have black people working with them and things like this. So
my vibe, she mentioned the same thing that lady mentioned, but I think I know what they're talking about when it comes to what they mean by the truth. Myron is black to me, and he speaks nothing but the truth when it comes to the majority of the black community. Listen, Myron's saying that there's the black community is fatherless, the black community has no leadership, all of that. I agree with all of that. These guys idiots. I agree with all of that. These observations are fine. But when you're starting to use racial slurs in order to describe the black people, that's unnecessary. That's racist. Okay, you can talk about the problems that a certain community has without using racial slurs, and this is what I'm trying to say. But these guys don't seem to. I think they get it, but it's Yep, telling the truth isn't racist at all. What? That's what I'm saying. I'm starting to think what they mean by telling the truth is saying that is the N word. No, if you use the if you're a white person, use the N word or you use racial slurs, that is not the truth. That is not the truth. That's not, you know, calling a black person, you being a white person, you call a black person the N word. You're not telling no truth. There's no truth there. What truth are you telling? But if you say something like, yes, there's a lack of fathers in the black community, that's the truth. I would agree with you. That's factual. Fox, you guys are low IQ. I think this guy is low IQ. I'm starting to think that when telling the truth is racist. Yeah, they keep saying the same thing. They're just talking nonsense at this point. Myron sucks. White supremacy. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, that's why these guys are all defending Myron. Yes, he does. That's why they're all defending Myron. Y'all know he's trolling, right? So who's he? Who's trolling? I feel like he's trolling because everyone thinks he's racist. I don't. Oh, that's your argument, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's more racist than the average person. I don't think so. I think a lot of this goes back to a more sociopath type mentality. So sociopath type personality, and then on top of that, a lot of people online who want to say what he says, but they don't have the balls to say it, and they worry that if they do say it, it will ruin their careers and things like this. So there's a lot of vicarious living through Myron. That's why he's still quite popular. And he's a sociopath, so he'll do things that most normal people wouldn't, like ruin their careers just to be on some podcast with Walter Weeks. So
I hold a different view. I hold a different view. Myron is a racist. Myron is a full-blown racist. If I was to give him a percentage, I would say he's about 75 to 85% racist. That's what I would give him. So I hold a different view from you guys. I don't think he's strolling at all. I think he's been wanting to say it for a very long time. I think he's been holding it in. And don't forget, this guy is from North Sudan. That means North Sudanese are quite racist towards dark skin tone people. So he is a racist. And you guys like to use him as an excuse. You racists, yeah, people like Vital 20. You guys like to use him as an excuse to use the N-word. Basically, if Myron can say it, and we consider him to be black because he's a little bit brown, you know what? Then I can say it. You know, it's like that. That's the only reason why white people really like Myron. That white people love it when Myron says it because they think if Myron can say it, then I can say it. That's all it is. It's just an excuse to be racist. Everyone who tells the truth about the black community is racist. Shaking my head. The biggest problem you have if you can't get out of your victim mentality is that stupidity. Again, no one is saying don't criticize the black community. Feel free to criticize the black community as much as you can. I think we should criticize every single community. I think we should criticize liberal ideologies, but you lot don't. I don't know why. Maybe you're just avoiding the truth. Liberal ideology is what changed the Western world, not this community or that community there. And it's affecting every single race, every single community. But yeah, feel free to criticize the black community as much as you want. But when you use racial slurs, you are being racist. There's no way around that. Shouts to Aaron McKay. I don't know what Myron has recently said, but most of what he says, let's play it again, is insecure and ignorant. What differentiates a person is their piety and character. Skin color is irrelevant. Listen, guys, listen. Okay, there's a man there with wisdom teaching you guys something.
So his wisdom comes from Islam. He's Muslim.
So. Stop it. I'm a Christian. I'm Catholic. Oh my days, man. I could have said the exact same thing, man. No, don't start. Don't you start. Your blacks are the second group of individuals that care about race problems. No, you racist pricks just want an excuse to be racist. That's it. That's the reason why you like using the N-word. Why do you like using that N-word for? Knowing that the word was invented to dehumanize black people. Why would you want to use that word for? Why?
I think it would be interesting to know which group is first. He said second group. I think I know which one is the first group, which goes back to the whole victim mentality, because I'd like you to say which group. I know you don't want to say it. We all know which group you're saying it. The Jews.
Hold on, let's play what Myron said again. Let's play what Myron said again, yeah? Let's just play what Myron said again, please.
Stuff, right? So I covered 9/11 extensively, right? Now, people would think commonly that some dude in a cave named Osama bin Laden what somehow masterminded a terrorist attack with another guy named Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the uncle of Ramzi Youssef, and they were able to successfully pull off the most damaging and worst terrorist attack in U.S. history. When that's the official narrative, right? That came out, I think, in 2004, 2005, which Al Qaeda was definitely involved, right? I'm not one of these like crazy conspiracy theories theorists that's going to tell you, oh, it wasn't Osama. No, it was him. They did plan it. But I think to not identify the other participants in 9/11 would be not true to the crime, right? It wouldn't be true crime because I'd be lying to you. And I think we've been withholding certain things, and I stand for truth, whether it's through women, history, geopolitics, whatever. There was absolutely a Zionist entity involved in 9/11, and they've done everything in their power to withhold that information from people. We found out recently that JFK, when he was assassinated, Israeli intelligence was involved. We're finding out with RFK the same thing, and they've held these documents for 60, 80 years. I wonder why. So with 9/11, and I can quickly go through it if you guys want me to, but there was you guys want me to? All right. Let's go through it. Oh, I can already see some. Okay, Shaniqua in the back is mad. Don't worry, we'll get to you next. We'll talk about watermelon and fried chicken here in a second. So the Kool-Aid assassins in the back. So let me kind of go through it, right? Because I see what you're saying.
Oh my days. You guys loved that, and all the racists, I bet they loved it when he said that. All the Shaniquas in the back. I bet you guys were going crazy when he said that. That was like the highlight of the entire talk, isn't it? That he called these black women in the back, these black girls, Shaniquas. Anyways, as soon as a black man calls out the black community for being degenerates, all you black people attack them instead of learning something. You're in your echo chamber. I think I've addressed this multiple times. You're just talking for the sake of talking. No one is stopping anyone from criticizing the black community. Feel free, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when you use racial slurs to describe a community. That's the issue. That's what makes it racist. The only race who constantly uses the race card are black people. That makes it the ultimate crybaby. Someone who consider themselves a victim is this. I do agree with that. Every issue is a race issue. So I do agree with that one there, Vital 20. I do see race being more brought up in the black community than anywhere else. Not everything is racism. So I do agree with the observation there. Alpha and Omega, I don't know what it means by that. Go back to Africa and fix your own continent. Leave Europe to the Europeans. I'll be all day. I'll be here all day for us to answer that question. The West has sent billions to aid Africa over the last 40 years, and there's been no progress made. Again, it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that. Trust me, it's not as simple as that. So, do you think black people themselves are built in culture to be racist to white? What? So do you think black people themselves are built in culture to be racist? I don't know what you mean by that. What does she mean by that? Is this Major vibes? I don't know if
I think
that's
she means, is the black culture, is there a component of the black culture that's meant to be racist or has inbuilt racism towards white people?
No, there's no. What are you talking about? No. People are racist because people have a sinful nature. That's it. That's the reason why they're racist. That's the reason why they do bad things. That's why they lie. That's why they're selfish. That's why they're greedy. That's why it's just a symptom of sinful nature. That's all it is. It's like I said earlier, you guys care more about racism than you care about abortion. And abortion is the killing of unborn babies. Like, what the hell are you lot talking about? It's just these low IQ people, man. I think I think your stupid low IQ victim mindset, and yes, he is black. He is more black than you because he's from the black factory Africa, and you in the US are more brainwashed because you are what focusing about your. This guy's talking like he knows me, bro. Terry
Yeah,
and
it really made me laugh. Are you from Angola? Did you grow up there?
yeah. Yeah, if I was to tell him, he probably hasn't heard of Kashito or nothing. Oh my days, brainwashed because you are focusing about your colors and not about your behavior. No, it's Myron that focused on the color. Instead, Myron was being heckled by loads of women on that day, including a lot of white women, and not once did he use racial slurs to address white people. So don't be so stupid. What he was doing was racist. Uh, Good luck about your 9 viewers talking to them. So you are stupid. I am proud of my 9 viewers, Terry and Terry. Listen, don't you insult my 9 viewers. You understand that? I love them. I love them to death. You don't ever insult my 9 viewers. It's actually 13 now. Take that. What is crazy is I come from a cultural background where modern Western is not as big. Where modern Western is not as big. What? So throughout my years living in the US, I see this difference between both sides. What is he talking about? What is she talking about?
What's crazy is I come from a cultural background where modern Western is not as big. Okay, so not a Western background, I guess. So throughout my years living in the US, I see the difference between both sides. So this comes up consistently. There's a lot of justification for anti-blackness because they're facing difficulties with the black community. It seems like people who aren't from the black community in America, I guess, justifying the animosity because they have negative experiences with black people. I've seen this from a variety of people. There seems to be a lot of racial tension in the US, even if you're not from the US, you just moved there or something, or if you've been there for a long while. It seems like race is a big thing. I don't see how that's a justification. I don't see how having negative because I've heard this comment before. Remember when Sneaker was sitting with the Dawa Avengers, and one of the big guy, what's he called, the big Latino guy. I don't know what his name is. I forget his name, but he spoke to Daoud. Daoud said to him, this racism, it's not, it's not good and things like this. And he said to him, have you ever been around Black Americans? He said no. And then he said, well, once you meet them, you'll have that opinion, and you'll come to the same conclusion. So that's a justification a lot of people use in this anti-blackness, that you, once you've interacted with African Americans and had a negative experience and seen the worst side of them, therefore your animosity is justified. I've seen the opposite. I've seen people say that they've heard negative things, but their personal experiences have been positive. I've heard the opposite. People have negative experiences with African Americans, and then they say, "Oh yeah, this hatred is justified." It's still not because there is no moral compass, I guess, which goes back to what you're saying of individualism and liberalism is the decay, and there is no greater moral duty that people apply to themselves, to whether it be a Christian background or Islamic background, where they think of themselves as individuals and say, I don't like you, therefore you must be bad, or you must be evil, or you must be weak or low IQ or worthy of abuse and whatever it may be. There is no greater, how can I say, community or mindset to look at your fellow human being as a human being. That's some of the justification I see. I don't think it's valid. I don't think it's valid to see people because you can have people from another background who will say the same things about you and assume the worst and have their biases confirmed with minimal interaction and minimal evidence. But the idea that, and this goes to the root problem of I guess what you keep saying, of liberalism and individualism as ruining society, because the person thinks that they are the moral compass and what they believe to be true is true. It's not the case. It's not the case. You can't go down because you don't have Christianity, or you don't have Islam. You just have your, I'm conservative.
You don't have an objective moral standard, because liberalism is basically a subjective moral standard. Well, it's not a moral standard at all. It's subjective. You can interpret morality to mean anything. Anything could be moral. So, and liberalism is basically about individualism and your own personal happiness. It's all about being happy. It's all about, so if it means I have to kill an unborn baby because this unborn baby is going to stop me from living my happiness to the fullest, then that's okay. So liberalism has basically these guys, they're not living under moral standards, an objective moral standard. This is all liberal thinking. It goes nowhere. That's the real issue. That's the real problem. Is that they can't even see it. That's what's crazy to me. Hold on a second. What are people fans of? Why are people fans of Fresh and Fit? How many times does Myron and Walter have to show you that they are two clowns? I don't know why people are fans of Fresh and Fit. I know why people are actually fans of Fresh and Fit, because he tells you to go and sleep with 50 women. And most of these degenerate liberal IQ white guys love that. He tells them to go and satisfy their carnal desires. Of course they're gonna love that. Of course people are gonna be fans of that. Go out there, sleep with a bunch of women, treat women like
blame all your problems on Jews and black people.
Blame all your problems on Jews and white people. Blame all your problems on women. Don't take no accountability at all. All of that's liberalism. That's liberalism right there. So as long as Myron keeps preaching that, he's gonna keep getting attention. Let a Christian come to you and tell you about accountability and how you need to hold yourself accountable for the wrongs that you do, and gives you some moral objective standards. You're not going to be a fan. You're going to be like, no, I don't want this in my life. Dubai Fanas, JR Magic, Savannah O World. Don't know what that is. What's a good percentage of racism to have? You tell me something. What's your percentage? Me, I think everyone's racist up to a certain extent. No one is free from racism. As per, you know who this is, right? Americans can be racist too. Americans can't stop talking about racism. I think they're some of the most racist people there is. They just can't stop talking about racism. Everything is racism to these guys. Yes, liberal ideology should be criticized. Liberal ideology is the root of it all. This is the reason why we have all the problems that we have. Myron will say the most outlandish stuff, and his fans will eat it up and take it as gospel without ever questioning him. They are here in the comment sections right now doing that. Why? Because I'm criticizing Myron for his racial slurs. So they don't like it and they're pissed off with it. That's the reason why. They are angry. If I was supporting Myron right now, all I would be getting is amazing comments. Osama bin Laden was from Saudi Arabia. Shouts to Aspra. I'm not a huge Myron fan, but he really doesn't say anything that crazy. You clearly don't watch enough of him. I was the same way about him, seeing short clips, but when you actually watch him, he's not. You definitely haven't watched enough of Myron. Savannah's World, I'm assuming you are a woman. How do we even answer this one, bro? Telling men to be promiscuous is not a good thing, Savannah. Okay, that Myron preaches feminism for men. That's basically what Myron preaches. Okay, telling men to go out there and be promiscuous. What do you think the consequences are after you've slept with? I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you to think about it, Savannah. What do you think? What do you think the consequences are of sleeping with 50 women? Okay, he says you need that in order to be able to vet what a good woman is. No, all you need is really truly all you need is a Bible. A Bible will tell you what a good woman is. You don't need to go out there and sleep with 50 women in order to vet women. What do you think? What are some of the consequences of sleeping with 50 women? Do you reckon? Okay, so if just think about that question, what I've just asked you. Some Americans can't talk, as when the US went to Iraq, some foundational Black Americans called the local people sand N-words. Yeah, they're just racist to each other at this point. You know, blacks are racist towards whites are racist towards blacks. Again, to me, this is like no objective moral standard. You shouldn't be racist towards anyone. As a Christian, it's like I'm made in the image of God, so how can I be? Everyone is made in the image of God, so how can I be racist to that person? How can I belittle that person? That's crazy. Some of these comments are illiterate. Yeah, they are. They come from far right idiots. Honestly, I've heard more non-white people say a lot more racist shit than white people. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not doubting that. But regardless, even if that was the case, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right when a white person says it, and it doesn't make it right when a black person says it. But our criticism of Myron is still valid. Well, I think what he's saying when he's using those racial slurs is him being racist. My brother here does not think so. He thinks it's, for the most part, just trolling. 45% is 45% racist, but for the most part, he's just trolling and he's attention seeking. So I don't agree with that take. I think he is being racist. I think he's been waiting to do this for a very long time because he can address people without racial slurs. Yo.
Yo.
Did you fall asleep?
Nah. I was just finding another. I was just in the background finding another clip of Myron or another thing where he's just actually confronted for his racism.
He was confronted for his racism. I don't think he cares. I don't even think people care about it though more. When he's racist. I personally think what he's doing is normalizing racism. And this is why you get this. Oh, but black people are more racist. Also racist towards us. Does that mean you should also be racist towards black people? Because that is what eventually will happen. They're racist to us, so we're going to be racist to them. And I think Myron, being in the public eye, he's just helping to normalize the entire thing.
I think he's got himself a real audience here for some reason. I think there's a lot of I'm gonna say it, and I don't really put too much credence into it, but I think there's a lot of really lonely people online, a lot of unmarried bachelors or whatever the term is. A lot of
low IQ unmarried bachelors.
yeah, a lot of low IQ people out there just really venting out their frustrations online, and he really scratches that itch where he says things that they want to say. I think that the incel problem is bigger than I would like to probably think. You definitely check on Twitter. There's a lot of people out here who really tweet all day about how they hate this community, that community. This community is responsible for their frustration. That community is responsible for their frustration. When there could be just a focus on bettering yourself and being the most that you can be, rather than saying black people are ruining Europe. I mean, I live in Europe. I don't see how. You go online, maybe there's a lot, and you're subscribing to certain people, you're going to see certain things, but you go outside, it's just rubbish. It's absolute nonsense. Jews are responsible, or blacks are responsible, or women are responsible. As a white man, I can't say this and I can't say that. But then on the other hand, Islam's the problem as well for some reason, which is not true. But then again,
Islam is definitely a problem. But yeah, go ahead.
Islam's not the problem. It's not the problem. It's actually the solution, because Christianity
Christianity is the solution, guys.
Yeah, and if it was, we wouldn't be here anyway. We wouldn't be in the situation.
Wow.
But let's be real. Let's be real. It's kind of weaken the waters, but that's a discussion for another day. But this is the consistent outcry of I'm not happy because somebody else is making my life unhappy. And I just think you're just weak, man. And if women having some sort of freedom, and people of other ethnic minorities being allowed to compete with you in any way, shape, or form is destroying your life, then it's just silly. It's the weakest people have the loudest voices online, and Myron, being the sociopath that he is really facilitating that. And it's quite interesting. It's a sad sight to see, but it's also quite funny to see as well. When I can't see it as being anything other than weak.
Kami was a semi that dude. I grew up in NYC and everybody is an equal opportunity racist based on stereotypes. Black people are racist against every other culture. Rave and Creed also. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that 100%. I absolutely agree with that. No one here is saying that black people are not racist or cannot be racist. That's not what we are saying at all. What we are saying is that what Myron in this instance was doing by using racial slurs was racist and is racist. There's no way around that. There's no way around that. You can address the problems, and he wasn't addressing the problems of the black community. What he was doing was he saw some black girls heckling him, and he decided to use racial slurs. And that's racist, and that's something that the far right wants to normalize. That's something that the far right wants to make it okay. Okay, they want to make it okay to insult black people. That's all it is. They want to make it okay to use racial slurs. That's it. And why? Because they want to be racist. Why? Because we are living in a liberal. This liberalism basically is all about you fulfilling. It's all about your happiness. So if I see other communities, living their best life, or they, trying to be trying to live out this idea of being happy, of course you're going to think the same way. And guess what happiness to a far right racist is? Guess what that is? Is being able to say the N-word, is being able to say racial slurs, is being able to, that's what that would be for far right racists. This is why they're like, why can't we use it? Why black people use it? Black people call us crackers. Well, that doesn't make it all right either. I don't care if black people are calling you crackers and calling you all types of other names. That doesn't make it all right either. Racism is racism. You shouldn't be using those racial slurs, period. But at the end of the day, they think they're being smart. That's the part. They think they're being smart. Look, black people do it, so why can't we do it too? How low is that?
I've actually found a clip of some of the guys in the comment section. So Unmarried Bachelor and
all right, let's see.
I've just found them online. So if you want to click share, this is them at their baby thing.
Oh, wow. Kyle, you want to sit on my shoulder? Oh my gosh, you're so tall. You want to sit on my shoulder? Wow. No.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Do you love it? Do you love it? Come on, let's go look in here.
That is sickening.
What a fairy wonderland. Look at this place. Look at this.
That is sick. That is.
Look. Aunt Courtney is so talented. Kyle, do you want to sit on your throne? Ready? This has your
That
name on
is,
it. Okay, ready? Sit right here. Sit right here. Here's your ball. 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 Dylan, here's your ball. Distract them. No, put it.
that's evil.
Farmers.
Yeah.
Okay, I just have to say thank you to everybody who participated in the twins' birthday, but I also want to give a special thank you to decorator Pops by Kathy. She made these custom, very delicious arrangements. Their birthday party theme was my very first birthday, and she nailed it. So I will tag her in this video. Make sure you go check out her work. She'll be back at Christmas to help us out. And Courtney Adams, you're a queen. You guys ready to see what she did to this house? I can't stand her. She's so good.
I think we've seen enough.
Yeah,
I played that clip because that's pretty much what I think about you in the comment section, guys. No disrespect, but when you present the ideas of hatred and political ideologies as your be all and end all of your moral standard, you're the same as these guys. You're making stuff up as you go along, using race and religion and animosity. Well, not religion, but using race, animosity, and whatever to justify your morals. You're just making up as you go along. You're no one special. You're gay.
I'm sorry. I'm still. I can still see that video. Oh, that is sick, bro. The guy was dressed as a woman. Both of them, both dressed as a woman, and don't tell me they adopted those two babies.
I think it might have been a surrogate, so it would be genetically their babies, but in terms of DNA, it would be their babies. But you know,
that is. I'm sorry to say, that's child abuse, bro. Look, listen, I've got a very high standard when it comes to, a child needs a mother and a father, and it has to be the biological mother and the biological father,
and married.
Sorry, yeah, of course, marriage is, that. Thanks for that, bro. But yeah, that's what needs to happen. A man and a woman married, and they have their own biological children. I mean, they've got studies on this that a child is most protected when they are with their biological parents. They are less likely to be abused when they are with their biological parent. I'm not saying that they have abused their children. I'm not saying that, but I think this is sick. I think this is absolutely sickening. Anyways, I wish I never saw that video, man. My days, man.
That's the comment section, man. That's them. That's them, guys.
That's crazy. So wow. As a Christian, nah. So that's the Vital guy.
Nah. That was me just taking the piss. I just found that video randomly.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, bro. You're cute, bro. Oh my god, that's sick, bro. That's sick. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to really say about this. Aside from, yeah, he was being, even though Hassan is saying that he wasn't being racist, he was. I don't know why Hassan would say that. Sorry, just passing through. I don't know why just passing through would say that. But yeah, he was being racist, and yeah, it doesn't go
gay couple if you want.
Not much as a Christian. When I see people doing, of course, I think this is wrong. It should stop. Blah blah blah. I have all those feelings, but to me, it's just like, yeah. But it's just the hypocrisy as well. It's like, yo, racism is the main thing, whereas abortion really isn't. Whereas, boys becoming girls and girls becoming boys really is. It's like, when I look at this society, it's like, oh my days, bro. This they treat one as more important than the other one. But at the end of the day, all of them, they all sin. It's all sinful. I would actually say, abortion is far more evil than racism is. Abortion is far more evil than racism will ever be. But This is the kind of society, the kind of hypocritical society that we live in, that liberalism has created. And now, because liberalism told us to go out and be happy, do as thy will, it's all about your happiness, is whatever makes you happy. Guess what? Everyone is trying to do that. And when everyone is trying to, when you've got every single community trying to do that, trying to live out their so-called happiness, you're going to have some problems. You know, you're going to see things that you're not going to like the video that we just watched. You're going to see people, well, that's what makes me happy. I'm you know, like, for example, gay people. Oh, I want to get married now. Why would you want to get married? You don't have children. You can't have children. Well, because I want to. You know, it's my happiness is all that matters. You know that. I want to adopt children now. Why? Why do you need to? That's not good for children. What do you mean? It's about my happiness. And then now take that same thing to every single community, and that's exactly what liberalism is all about, and that's exactly what liberalism is doing in every single community. So please, man, don't be surprised. That's all that's happening. That's all that's happening. You know, so there's gonna be some people with some evil ideologies, and they gone under liberalism. They can do whatever they want to do, right? So who's going to stop them? Yeah, this is why we need Christianity back, man. Bro, what's your final thoughts? Is Hassan still there? Hassan,
Yeah, so yeah.
What's your final thoughts, bro?
I was going to play a clip of Myron being confronted for saying what he says, and then
we'll play one more clip then.
I don't know. I thought the show was just starting to cook, man. It's surprisingly getting a lot of people heated. It's interesting, isn't it? They think that. I guess this is their champion. This is how low the far right has become, that they're using a Sudanese guy to be their representative.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Play it, man.
Hater channels that bash all of us in our industry, and I'm like, wait, this Flacco that was a fan, a supporter of National Movement, now you're bashing us.
Because if you want to be the type of YouTuber that you have become, you basically have to, every single video has to be taking somebody down and declaring that they are bad.
Fair use, because no jumpers a bit of copyright. Fair use.
Look at how this person fell off. 3 days and 24 hours. Look at how this person is a piece of shit. And you're doing it even to people that used to be your literal mentors.
Listen,
you were
on
the cruise ship.
Yeah. It's funny. People tell me, roast Flacco, bro. He's just y'all. You know what? Yeah. That's the homie. I don't roast him. But now I'm talking to you because,
of course,
no. So it's fair.
Here, facts, right? But fresh though, right? So look, when I make videos, right?
Yeah.
I'm always clear, meaning this, right? Like, I've never hidden that I bought like DMs, you feel me, right? Right? I'm always clear, bro. I'm always clear, which is Fresh, I love so far, right? In terms of how Fresh stays. I say, Myron, I love too, but bro, Myron right now, bro, again, for example, I say, hey, bro, whenever I evict a bitch, is a nigga bitch. I'm like, come on, cuz. I just said, come on. Myron.
All right. What is your problem specifically with what I say? What is your specific problem or your gripe?
No. For example, right? Like, if you say, bro, whenever I evict somebody, it's usually a black woman. Right? We can probably say that. But a nigga bitch is like harsh, my nigga, right? Like, that's like, come on, bro. Like, let's not like call, because again, bro, we're all into this shit.
I know what you're talking about. Oh, I was referring to eviction rates. Yeah. Black women are at the top of that. It's the truth.
Yeah, black women. But when you call,
bro, it's the truth, man. Like,
when we call us, though, it's like, come on, bro. We love you too, my nigga. Like, yeah, bro, we're all one, right? So like, when you like call your own people the worst you can call a black person, which is like, come on, bro. Like, why even do that?
Let's go. So let's go through this, right? Yeah. So I'm an equal opportunity racist.
Yeah.
I talk shit about everybody, whether it's I call Indians, I call Jews, I call blacks, whites.
Yeah.
I literally talk shit about everybody.
Yeah.
Now my thing is, the reason why I use such terms, and you might probably gonna have to bleep some of that stuff out.
Oh yeah.
But
I'm already thinking about that.
Yeah, I gotta bleep that stuff out. But the reason why I, whatever. The reason why I use such terms, right, is to let people know that they're getting the real me, the authentic me, because I know that if I use certain phrases, certain terminology, people know, damn, this guy's authentic. Like, he's not controlled. And in a world where social media influencers are slowly starting to become almost like the mainstream media, which we've disliked for a very long time, I want to make sure that people understand, like, yo, this is me. I'm not controlled by anybody. Now, I know some people might not like that, but it's one of the most honest indicators that we're independent. We say what we want, we do what we want, and we're not necessarily controlled or beholden to anyone else. So sometimes I have to give these reminders out, and I think that's one way to stay authentic. Now, some people get offended by that, but I think there's a level of authenticity that commands respect that people like to see, especially in this politically correct world. Keep in mind, we just found out that, like, we had to get a presidential order, executive order, to say that there's two genders. We've went so goddamn far left with this PC culture, etc. You need extreme guys like me to kind of bring it back center. Because some people might say, Myron, you're far right, you're all right. Well, guess what? My rhetoric needs to be used sometimes to bring us back to the center. Because we went so fucking left.
Because, okay, when so we did that first interview, and you guys were not really political at that time, right? Like, you weren't really discussing politics. No, we were staying away from it. It was mostly dating advice, men's advice, whatever. And then I remember, like, soon after that, you guys had what I remember as being, like, your first major controversy, which was where I think you guys said something along the lines of, you know, we don't date black women, we don't night riders,
you know,
something
funny?
Along those lines.
That clip had actually been out way before we came on No Jumper.
Oh, really? Okay.
But what ended up happening is it resurfaced on Twitter.
That was definitely a moment where I was like, okay, so it might be a little difficult to be friends with these guys at a certain point.
Well, hold on. Let me go through that, right? So, as you guys know, we do our show live, right? And we had a call-in show, I think, that day, right? Where people could call in and ask questions. Someone called in or sent in a super chat saying, hey, what are your thoughts on using the Blacked website for dating?
The dating app.
And then that's when we made that joke.
Blacked.
Like, oh yeah, Blacked, haha, we don't night ride over here, you know, some shit like that. It was just us, like, making jokes.
But Blacked would be a good site because there's, like, no black women on there. It's just black dudes. Well, it is. I don't know. Blacked has a website. The theme is, like, women getting banged out by big ass.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're talking about ghetto gaggers?
The dating app.
Oh, the dating app.
No.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, dating app.
Oh,
no, the porn site.
Bro, this guy,
porn brand.
Oh, I'm thinking black.com.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
So there was two though. Yeah, it's like there's white girls too on that Black app.
No, there's.
But yeah, so basically, someone called, like, sent a super chat or whatever, because it's a live show, and asked that question where we made the joke, like, hey, you know, we're not night riders like David Hasselhoff or something like that, or we're not down with the Browns, some shit like that. Just a joke. But what ended up happening is they took that clip, and they spun it as if, like, we were, like, super racist when we were responding to, like, a question.
Actually, you know what's funny? My girl knows black.
It's like, how black? As black as you? Or she's like
impossible.
She's mixed probably, right? She's mixed impossible.
She's African.
No. Right? Okay,
sorry. No, shout out to you. You're rehabilitated.
Effects.
Right? No. Hold on. It was a joke, bro. We were trolling.
So you've always been open to dating black women? Huh? You've always been open to.
Yeah, bro. I've been with black chicks too, bro. We literally see, the thing that's crazy is, like, we literally roast everybody, but, like, people only hone in on, like, certain shit. Like, y'all are racist, right? Because you guys said this, but nobody gives a shit when we make fun of Mexicans.
Well, when you say though, like,
hold on, we're more flagrant themselves.
Facts.
I'm like, yo, y'all are comedians, but can't take a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, remember
they got offended by us.
Yeah, they did shit to us. We went to New York. Angela was like, oh, don't show up black women. Bro, it's a joke.
It's like 10 minutes long. Do you want me to carry on playing it, or?
Nah, bro. It's just
it's a bit juvenile. But the point I'm making is and plus he's sitting opposite a porn star and a guy who's a member of Saint the Sinners type thing. Remember what he said? We're all in it together. But why do you have to use the N-word to describe black women? And when he means we're all in it together, it comes to we're all in it together to talk down to women.
Yeah.
But don't use the N-word to describe them, which really kind of goes back to this whole red pill Myron type thing. It's really a case of people looking for the people that they want. Like, this is why Andrew Tate's so popular, right? He's really, if you want somebody that this is a great avenue for you to vent out your frustrations in a secular society, because in the UK at least, and I think in the US, as he said, it's becoming as time goes on, it's becoming more and more politically correct, where you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't say Merry Christmas or whatever it is, you got to say Happy Holidays, you can't say this, whatever, because we're in a growingly multicultural society, multi-religious, terms like even gender, whatever, right? cultural norms have become, the boundaries have been broken. So there's a lot of people who are really frustrated. A lot of people who see someone and go, I want to call that person the N-word, but because I might lose my job, my career, my social status, or whatever it is, I'm not going to do it. But it's nice to have him here. I want to call that woman a B-word, and I want her to do this and do that, but I can't say that because we live in a, you know, gender equality society. So I'll subscribe to him and give him. These are all talking heads to vent out the frustrations of people who are in a new world. The new world being we're all pretty much equal. Doesn't matter about your race, doesn't matter about your religion, doesn't matter about your gender, doesn't matter about this, that, and the other. We're all pretty much the same, and that we're all equal under the eyes of the law. Therefore, we must be all considered equal under the eyes of the society. This is what Myron does. If you hate women, he's got that for you. If you hate certain races of people, he's got that for you. If you hate other races of people, he's got that for you. He does mainly cater to the white crowd because they're the ones that will have the most frustrations with these ethnic minorities and such. So it is skewed to a certain degree, but this is why he's so popular. This is why the comment section was just going crazy today, or the chat, or whatever it's called. Oh, blacks this and blacks. No facts, no objective facts, nobody making clear arguments, but just asking for arguments. Nobody willing to even be on the pod when the link is in the chat, I think, as well. Nobody willing to put up arguments that suggest that there's a real reason for their frustrations other than I don't like the way things are going. I don't like the fact that my cultural sensitivities, what makes me feel comfortable, everybody, you know, being second to me to a certain degree, isn't being facilitated, and I'm pretty much. I mean, I'm pretty much because it's not. It's the statistics suggest otherwise. What people are saying in this comment section, and even through Myron, it's just not true. So this is a lot of angry people online. A lot, because as soon as you turn this off, as the guy said from Ukraine, this sort of stuff just disappears. As soon as you delete Twitter and social media and stop going on YouTube and stop listening to this type of stuff, it all pretty much disappears. There's a lot of strange echo chambers online.
Again, I mean, I think this is all liberalism, because liberalism is about every community fulfilling whatever it is that makes them happy. It's about liberalizing. It's about free. It's about you being free to do whatever it is that you want to do. And when you add diversity, inclusion, and all the, you know, when you add that to it, you know, you've already got liberalism, which is basically individualism. Because I was thinking when you were talking, I was like, look, as a Christian looking at this, I'm like, you shouldn't be racist towards anyone. That's the first thing. I don't care whether they're Spanish, it's wrong. You shouldn't be racist towards anyone, right? So to me as a Christian, that's where I would start. Well, why am I going? It doesn't matter whether it's being racist towards black people or Asian people. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't be. So as a black person, as a Christian person, this is where that stops. But for someone who does not, for a secular liberal person, that's not where it stops. You know, they look at it as there's nothing wrong with, you know, me being racist. There's nothing wrong. And if you try to stop me from being racist, then that means you're trying to control my freedom of speech, or you're trying to stop me from having freedom of speech. That's how they perceive things, you know. And the reason why they perceive things is because they believe that they should be allowed to do whatever it is that they want. Okay, but as a Christian, I don't believe that, because I'm under an objective moral standard. So when I look at these people, you know, it's the example that I gave earlier for LGBTQ, for a gay couple who, you know, it's not enough that it's not illegal to be gay. They want to get married now. They want to adopt children now. They want to do all of these things now. It's like, why? Why? Because we live in a liberal culture. and liberalism is about the happiness of the individual. So depending on what that person believes in, that person is going to try and, you know, be as happy as he can, you know, fulfill that, whatever that is. For a gay person, you know, they're always going to take it to the next level, the next level, the next level. So I can see why a far right person would want to continue to be more and more racist. Would want to fight against this. Well, under the idea of freedom of speech, they would basically be pushing for the ability to be racist towards other races. And when people say, "Oh, that's racism," oh, no, you're just trying to stop freedom of speech. That's what you're trying to do. So I can see why. So it depends on who you are. So liberalism is very, very dangerous, because depending on who you are, it can be quite destructive to society. I mean, that's my opinion. That's what I think about it. So, because what we have in Myron is two people that, I mean, when we look at their political views and their dating habits, what do we see? They love living a promiscuous lifestyle. When it comes to the political views, well, Finger doesn't have much. What's his name? Fresh. But when it comes to what's his name? Myron, he hates the Jews. Pretty much it. That's just American first. But to me, I think he just wants to hate the Jews. That's why he says American first. I don't even think he really, you know, cares about America that much. He just cares about America not supporting Israel. That's what he really is. That's what he's really after. That's the vibe I get anyway. But that's what comes out from people like that, from people who believe in promiscuity, who believe in feminism for men, who believe in the political views. These are the things that will come out. So that's the only thing I gotta say in regards to that. But that entire video was just getting on my nerves because I'm watching 4 adults just talking nonsense for the sake of talking nonsense. The first thing I would have told Myron is, why not just not be racist? Just don't do it. And it doesn't matter what race it is. Why not just not be racist? But also people make too much of a big deal about it. Seriously, they really do. Yo, Hassan.
Yeah. Last words?
Yep. You think Myron is racist?
2 words to Myron fans. Get a life. Now, honestly, I'm kind of sick and tired of these guys. I'm sick and tired of these people just blaming everybody else in the world for their frustrations, blaming women, blaming ethnic minorities, calling people low IQ, all these issues, because the frustrations that we might have or that they're pointing out to really aren't justified.
I think it is justified.
I think the frustrations they have aren't justified. I think what they're doing is they're just using other people to give themselves an excuse to be racist, misogynistic, whatever other word there is. And I can't, as a person who isn't burdened with this, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my frustrations, as you've noticed in the group chat. But generally speaking, I don't. I just live my life and try to make the most of the world. And I have no entitlement. I don't assume the world or anybody owes me anything. I think if you start off with that mindset, you won't be worried about others and their victim mentality. You won't be worried about others at all. You'd be too busy doing you to worry about what others do. So focus on that, and your life will become a lot better. Or don't, and waste your life thinking about how other people made it a lot worse for you, and wasted the blessing that God gave you.
And see, that would work if the people you were talking to were Christians. because they have an objective moral standard, you could basically say, oh, didn't Jesus say this and that and that, and they would be like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I need to stop worrying about other people's business and other people's lives and other people's blah 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 blah. Because you could just point to a scripture in the Bible and say, oh, look, you shouldn't be worrying about other people, man. You should be worrying about what your religion teaches. Isn't that what your religion teaches? He's like, oh yeah, but that won't work for so. They are doing them. You know, when he says, oh, do you? They are. This is them doing themselves. This is them doing you. So they do it themselves now. That's what it means. It means worrying about other people's lives, thinking about what other people are doing, hating on other communities. It means all of those things. That's what it means. Because to them, that's what it means to be happy. They doing what they will. This is what gives them the maximum. That's what makes them the most liberal. That's the most liberal thing that they could do. That's going online and expressing their hatred towards whoever. That is them doing them. That's them fulfilling their happiness, living that liberal lifestyle that liberalism allows them to live out. So that's why when you said what you said, I was like, that's how they become. That's happiness. Because when you say no, you should just do you, you're implying that there's another standard of happiness. There's another moral standard out there that they can follow. That's better for them. But that's not what living under liberalism means. It means whatever they're doing, that's what they should be happy. This is what makes them happy. This is why a Christian, and look at a Christian, look at what Christians do. You know, they say, look, they say homosexuality is a sin, right? They express that. And then a homosexual will turn around and be like, well, who the hell are you to tell me? Why are you worried about what I do? I'm not worried about what you necessarily do, but since we live in a society that allows us freedom of speech, so we feel that this is a sin, so we want to tell you that. We want to tell the world that this is a sin. Okay? And bro, liberalism is messed up, bro. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And this is what, to us, this is what makes us happy, because we want them to understand that they shouldn't be doing that. But then again, they have the right under liberalism to do what they're doing, to want to get married, even though they're gay, to adopt children, even though it's bad for children. They have also the right to do that. And so does every other community that believes in something completely different. They have, you know, and there's no moral standard. Anyways, guys, let's thank Just Passing Through. Thank everyone, even the far right racists that came on. Thank them as well. Thank everyone that's commented, everyone that's still watching. Salute to you guys. And this is the end of the show. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Take it easy.